Hello, I'm Jennifer and I'm admin support.
And I'm Melanie, a caseworker, and we both work in the CAMS Home Improvement Agency team.
We're going to talk to you about Disabled Facilities Grants, which we call DFGs, what they are, how the process works and how the agency could help you. DFGs are a mandatory grant to help elderly and disabled people live safely and independently in their home. You do not need to be registered disabled to apply for a grant. You can apply for a DFG to help with things like door widening, door entry systems, level access showers or overbath showers, stair lifts, hoists, ramps, extensions, adapted kitchens, heating systems where needed and other adaptations to help you move around your home.
The maximum amount for a DFG grant is £30,000. To qualify for a DFG, you must be eligible for public funds and you must pass a means test or be on a qualifying benefit. Children and young people under 18 or in full-time education are automatically eligible for a DFG and do not need to be means tested.
If you are an owner-occupier and you're receiving a grant of more than £10,000, a charge of up to £10,000 will be secured against your property. If the charge in question is less than £500, it will be disregarded. The charge is only repayable if the property is disposed of, this means sold or transferred within 10 years.
Before we can help you with the grant, an occupational therapist or OT will need to come out to your home and assess your needs. There is usually a wait for an OT assessment, and this can be anything from 6 to 20 weeks, depending on how busy that service is at the time.
Your OT will then make a decision on whether you meet their criteria for an adaptation. If successful, they will send a referral to us here at CAMS HIA. We are presently working on a new process whereby our staff who are now trusted assessors can also complete more basic assessments, leaving OTs to concentrate on those with more complex needs. You do not have to be eligible for care to be eligible for a DFG. The OT will assess your functional needs and advise us on what you need help with. Our team will then work with you and the OT to identify how those needs can be met.
Once your OT has submitted your needs on a referral form, one of the admin support team will register your case on our system and give you a call to arrange for one of our caseworkers to visit your home to explain the grant and fill out some forms. The meeting can take a while as we need to look at your home, take some photos and explain the process to you. We will ask you to sign an agency agreement to confirm you wish to use us as your agent, and we will explain what this means.
Presently, the agency charges a 15% fee for its work, which is usually covered by the grant. As a council service, CAMS HIA is a non-profit organisation.
Whilst visiting your home, we will also identify any other hazards or improvements that we feel would be useful to you. There are several other grants that the caseworker can advise you on that could also be applied for. Also, with your agreement, the caseworker may refer you on to other services like Lifeline alarms, if from talking to you they think they would benefit you. We have to comply with General Data Protection Regulations or GDPR, so we will ask you for your permission before we refer you to anyone else.
If you are on a qualifying benefit, you will not need to complete a means test, but you will need to provide proof. If you aren't in receipt of a qualifying benefit, your caseworker will need to collect copies of your bank statements from all your bank accounts. If you have a partner, we will also need theirs as you are means tested as a couple and not as an individual. Qualifying benefits include universal credit,
Housing benefit,
pension credit guaranteed,
income support,
income-based JSA,
income-based ESA,
and also working tax credit
or child tax credit if your annual income is less than £15,050. Once we've completed the means test, we will send you a letter informing you of whether you have a contribution to pay or not. If you do, you'll have to pay that amount and then the council will pay the rest. This will need to be paid once the grant is approved and before any work starts.
If your contribution is more than the cost of works, unfortunately you won't be entitled to any grant funded money. You then have three options. You can go and find your own contractor and ask them to do the work for you. You can use us privately to manage the project, or you can also apply for the NIL grant, which is the same process as a DFG, and we can still manage the works for you, but the money you spend will be taken off your contribution in future. We'd recommend this option if you think you might need more work in the future.
For example, this is Mr. Smith. We did a means test for him which came out at £5,000. However, he needs a stair lift that only costs £3,500. Mr Smith decides that going for a nil grant is the best option for him as his health is slowly getting worse. Within the year, he is struggling to get in and out of his front door due to the large step, so the OT recommends a ramp for him which will cost £3,000. Our records show that Mr Smith has already paid £3,500. We check his finances haven't changed, so we move forward with the DFG application with Mr Smith paying £1,500 and the District Council paying £1,500. This also means that if Mr Smith's finances don't change, if he needs an adaptation in the future, it will be fully grant funded. However, if Mr Smith didn't choose the nil grant, he would have had to pay for both adaptations in full.
If you own your property, we will need a land registry official copy of the register for your property. If this isn't possible, we will need a copy of your deeds. If you are a tenant, we will need to ask your landlord for their consent for the works. We cannot work on a property if you do not own without your landlord's consent.
When a contractor has been chosen, we will submit your grant application to your local council, who will have 14 days to approve your grant. Once the grant is approved, the council will send a letter to you detailing who the contractor is and all the financial details. You will now have a 14-day cooling off period, which you may choose to waive if you wish. Once the cooling off period has been waived or expired, the council will send out the order to the contractor.
When the contractor is confirmed they'll do the job, they will contact you to arrange a start date. While the contractors are working in your home, our caseworkers and surveyors will be on hand to answer any queries or issues that arise. In the case of large works, our staff will complete interim inspections to make sure the contractor is doing as asked.
Our contractors are required to meet our code of conduct when working in your home. This includes making you aware of when they're coming, protecting your carpets and furnishings, and behaving in a courteous way. While the works are ongoing, a building control officer may visit throughout the works to check everything meets building regulations, and they will issue a completion certificate on completion.
Upon completion of the works, a surveyor or caseworker will arrange to come to see you to complete a final inspection and check the work has been finished to a satisfactory standard. We will also send you any information such as warranties that you will need to keep hold of. We would also encourage you to keep the contact number for your contractor so that you can contact them directly if any issues arise after we have closed your case.
When we are happy with the adaptations and all certificates and warranties have been received, we will pay the contractor and claim our fee from the council.
Thank you for listening,
and we hope we can help you in the future.